Okay, hello. Right, this is your last square inspired by the artist Peter Blake. What I would like you to do is to think about your favourite food and the hobbies that you partake in. And I would like you to think about compositionally placing them in a really exciting way on your last square. So what you are first going to do is draw a 10 by 10 centimetre square. As you know, it's your last square of the same size. I'd like you to add a title, Hobbies and Food Square, and I'd like you to add some lines underneath your square so you could start listing the items that you have drawn. So for instance, I absolutely love swimming. I might choose to have just a large splash shape or a couple of droplets of water to show my interest in swimming. I like reading. I might have a book. I like cake. I might do a big cupcake. And you could start thinking about what items to use and how you are going to place them, because what you need to consider is variety of size. So for instance, if I want to have a large cupcake, what I might do is, rather than having it central straight on, I might have it at a slight angle, and you could twist your page if it's easier. I might have my cupcake here, so I'm roughly marking it out. I'm going to have the case first, so I'm going to add my case, obviously the cupcake line, casing lines, and I can make it a little bit bumpy because I know the casing is always a little bit bumpy around the edges. I've got my cake and I've got the icing, so I'm going to start adding my icing. I have a nice, sort of getting smaller, and then a big lump at the top. Right, so I've got my cupcake, and I could add sprinkles if I wanted to make it more interesting. So I've got my cupcake there. I straighten out the page. I say, right, okay, that's the cupcake. Obviously, I love to draw and paint. So what I could do is actually have a paintbrush coming behind. So roughly think where it's going to come. Coming behind the cupcake. So there's my paintbrush. And have it, so it's almost like hitting the edge of the square. And to make it more interesting, I might have, again, a pencil coming up here. So what I'm doing is the objects and the shapes are starting to overlap. And that in itself makes it a little bit more interesting for when I start adding colour and decoration. So what else will I have? Well, I mentioned I like swimming before, so maybe that's the opportunity. I've got a gap in the corner here. I can have sort of some splash marks. So it almost looks like paint actually. So you've got a mixture of the both, which is quite appropriate. I then also quite like reading. So what I might do is have in this corner, just trying to think here, I might have my book. So I'm going to have the book with the pages that are open. And I might have it a bit shorter so I can see the pages here, so it looks a bit more clear like there's a book. As I'm deciding as I go along, if you make any changes, not the end of the world, you could just rub it out and add bits. So I can decide to have sort of pictures, I can pretend to have some words, letter writing in there, another image, and so on. So it looks a little bit more like a book than it would do otherwise. And then finally, pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? Maybe I could have a pizza. I could do a big slice of pizza here. I could have a slice there. Get the pepperoni. Got a pepperoni. And have it a bit more interesting. There, so I've got my pizza. I might want to have a bit top of an apple as well, just to really think about filling up. I've got more food than I have, a bit of mixture, a bit hobbies and food. An apple there, and I might have a bottom of a pizza repeating itself, because you can repeat images so long as you think it warrants it and there are gaps. Right, so my whole square is completely jam-packed with imagery. And what I'm going to do now is I don't want to overwhelm it, so I am going to limit my colour palette. I am just going to choose 3 colours. So you need to decide whether you want warm colours, red, orange and yellow, and you want to recreate it in 3 colours, or you might want cold colours, or you might want to mix it up a bit and have a couple of cold colours and 1 warm colour. That choice is yours, but it must be only 3 colours because I want you to think about really light areas. Now if it's very, very bright white, the page will remain untouched. If it then gets darker, you might go to your next colour. So for instance, if I am going to work on the premise that I want mainly warm colours, and I think, okay, if the light is coming from this direction, okay, in here, hitting where the middle of the cross with the brush and the pencil is, you might have the light hitting where the tip of the pencil here, tip of the brush here, and again, you might have a bit of the paint because the light's coming across from the side. The cupcake, you're going to get a little bit of light hitting on the edge of the casing there, and it will disappear more, less of the light areas as it goes further away. And the same with my cupcake, and you're building up your area of tone. So light hitting here, I'm going to have a light hitting here, I'm going to have the light around the apple's already got a shine on it, and I want the light getting a little bit softer as it goes away from the highlight. The book page sort of curling up around, so I've got some little bit here. And so that's colour number 1, very quickly. What you need to do then is look at colour number 2. So if it has got further away from the light, what would your next colour be? So obviously I am got my chosen my 3 colours, and it's going to be red, orange and yellow. And further away, and I'm just slowly merging the 2 colours. So I should overlap slightly where the yellow is, blending the 2. So I have yellow and orangey yellow and more orange. And you'll build up and you'll build up. And I'm not going to, as I say, I would like you to work on it more than you are looking at this sort of example. So you can spend more time than I am, but you are making sure your image has a sense of light, and the light is turning in a certain direction. All right, so slowly getting further away, getting darker. Okay, and nearly there. We're just working on a few little bit more before I can move on to the red for you. As I say, I probably won't have time to finish it now in this demonstration, but you will get a chance to see. And then, oh, forgot my orange on my cup casing. Once I've got this orange on the cup casing, I'm going to quickly get the red just to show you what to do with your red. And this is where it's darker. So I'm going to add my darker bits of red to add the dramatic shadow. So it looks like it is certainly going away from the light. It is darker on this side. I'm adding the red. And I've probably missed out a little bit of the colour in areas just as my haste to show you, and I can go back and work into that. But hopefully you're starting to see, even though it looks like the objects, even though those colours aren't exactly the true to the objects, it's still helping make the object look 3D and interesting. Okay. And then your final touch, final touch, as I say, this is very, very rushed. You can spend more time making it look absolutely amazing. But you can then go around, oh, I just want to add a bit of orange on here. I missed my pizza crust. Can't miss my pizza crust. Right, once I have got that, your final touch will be to get black. And then your black tone can be absolutely solid around your objects to make them really, really pop. Okay, so make sure your last colour, your darkest colour, is not too similar to black, otherwise it might disappear in your drawing. So really, really nice, solid. And look, can you see how I'm pressing very, very hard? I'm not having any gaps. The trick is not to have any gaps. And once you have got that, you can see how the items are starting to really jump out now. You can even use your pencil to add additional bits of highlight. Now, I'm doing this super quick because you're actually needing to spend the whole time available to you for your drawing. But hopefully you can see just through my very quick example how you can play around and how your image looks 3D. Okay, if you have any questions, make sure to at me. Make sure I want solid colours. If you are stuck for imagery, what I must ask you to do is either place the images in front of you to copy, or you can even look them up, research them, look something directly, because it is much better than making it up. Make sure you are referring to something directly to help you. Okay, right, my hand is starting to ache now with the speed that I'm trying to do this for you, so I'm hoping by the end you'll have a very clear example of what you need to do. And even though it's not a completely worked into amazing example, so I'm sort of rushing over a bit here, gone over a bit over the edge in my haste to get it done for you. But please, please, please do check with me if you are not sure about anything. And then, as I say, what I might do is then spend a bit of time adding extra bits of detail to really make my drawing pop. Okay, right, I think that's pretty much it for now. I will leave you to it and I look forward to seeing the outcomes.